Hello, Decipher. So happy to be here today. My name is Rachel Jacobson. I'm the president of the Drone Racing League, and I did just get the memo. The only thing standing between you all and happy hour is this session. So no pressure or anything to my panelists today, but thrilled to be here. Let's tip things off. I don't know if a year ago I would have thought the big news would be at Thanksgiving this year that I was minted. So shout out to Algo House, who helped put an NFT out on the market. So we'll have other big announcements beyond that. But we are talking about fan engagement. And when I think about the intersection of crypto and gaming and sports, what better group than these innovators and visionaries, and I'm not just saying that because my boss is a panelist, to talk to you today. So why don't we quickly introduce, if everyone could tell everyone watching who you are, what your company is, and then we can tip things off.
Start with me?
Dmitry.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Dmitry Kozko. I'm CEO of Motorsport Games. Just like the name suggests, we make racing games for NASCAR, IndyCar, Le Mans, and so on. So we make them for consoles, Xbox, PlayStation. So if you see one in Walmart, we had something to do with it.
My name is Horbaczewski. I'm the CEO and founder of the Drone Racing League. We're the global professional circuit for drone racing. So we put on a series of races around the world with the very best pilots. We have events in the physical world. We have events in the digital world and sort of try to span that blurry line between the digital and the real as a new futuristic technology-enabled sport.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Choi. I'm the founder and CEO of Sequoia Games, and our first release is Flex NBA. It's a battle tile game which features NBA athletes, and in close partnership with them, we've created a pretty, what we consider unique offering out there that blends the physical and digital experience.
And then Adi joining us remote. Would love you to say hello to everyone.
Hey everyone, Adi here, dialing in from Dubai. I'm the founder and CEO of Zone. Zone is a decentralized, scale-based platform which plugs in existing esports games onto the blockchain. So if anyone wants to take me on chess, I'll be open right after the session.
That's great. That's great. So Dan, why don't we start with you? I spent 21 years at the NBA, so it is no surprise how progressive they've been with jumping into things with Sequoia Games, and would love you to double click down on exactly what you all have planned, as much as you can share, when you think about what you are going to be launching, what's out there for everyone to get excited about.
Yes, and that's really an apropos way of stating how the NBA has been, which is a fantastic partner. They are very forward thinking, and I'm really grateful that our first iteration of Flex is in conjunction with them. It all starts with what's called the Flexagon, which I have one here in my pocket. It's a beautiful hand-drawn piece of art stuck in two really high-quality pieces of acrylic. And this is the key component. It's called a Flexagon of the game itself. And what it is it's not a basketball simulator. It creates an alternate universe and that's why we chose to hand draw each of the 239 players we're launching with. These hand-drawn pieces of art, you're gonna assemble a team of your favorite players, and you're gonna flex on your opponent. You're gonna try to take them out. And what we've done is we are trying to bridge a gap. I call it the Great Divide. The Great Divide is that, if for some of you who don't know, Monopoly was patented in 1935. Okay, that's a long time ago. And Atari made its debut in the 80s, the early 80s. We're now in 2021, and I really feel like the gaming experience has to evolve. How long can we be on our mobile devices and PS5s? How much more clear can the graphics get? I think the next level is interacting with our physical environments. And that's what Flex NBA allows you to do, is to go deeper into the gameplay by incorporating a physical aspect to these amazing technologies, and not only on the software side, but the hardware side as well, that I think we'll see in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm confident my twins will be playing along. So thank you for giving me that education last night. So let's go to Adi. I know you've been an early mover and shaker in the play to earn space with chess and with cricket. Hopefully we can figure something out with drone racing, so that'll be a separate convo. But would love you to talk about your work with Algorand and what exactly you are doing in that space.
Oh, yeah, great. Algorand was actually a key decision for us because I've been now in the esports world for about 2 years. And we have 4.5 million users across India and Africa and some in the Middle East as well. And we went through a variety of different options as part of layer one possibilities. And I've been in the space, in the crypto space for a while. So we looked at various different layer ones. And what we realized is the number one thing for us was fees, right? We had to, forget paying $1 in gas fees. Most of these users won't even pay 50 cents in gas fees in India and Africa. So that was our biggest metric. And then we needed it to look more like a Web 2 interface because most of our users are more interested in Web 2 gaming, and most of them haven't even interacted with Web 3 interfaces. So it was very important for us to kind of look at Web 2-like experiences for the users. And then finally, decentralization was very important just given the nature of our business. And like Silvio said in the morning, a lot of people claim that they're decentralized, but when you actually look at most layer one chains, they are not really decentralized. So Algorand became a no-brainer for us, and we're looking forward. We've done a lot of activations already, and we have a big one coming up in Dubai for Formula One. We have Pierre Gasly on a yacht, and he's going to be doing a racing game. So maybe we can collaborate on a racing game here.
Definitely.
Always open.
Yeah.
Definitely. And just to follow up on that, where are you finding your players coming from? Can you talk to us about the global footprint? You mentioned Dubai, of where you're seeing these communities really erupt around what you're doing.
Interestingly enough, we already had a base in India and Africa, but what we're seeing as we get closer to our token launch is massive influx from Vietnam. We're seeing a lot of users coming in from Indonesia and the Philippines. So it's mostly Southeast Asian economies where, this is another means of monetizing. And I guess Axie Infinity showed that to the entire world. So we're seeing a lot of users flow in from these geographies. And even though there are some language barriers, we're not completely Vietnamese ready on our website, we're still seeing people make the effort to come in and test out the games that we have already.
Amazing. All right, Dmitry, I know we share a partner in Rocket Insights. Nicholas will share more on that in a bit, but could you tell us a little bit about, why blockchain, any nuggets that you can share on what you're doing in the marketplace there as you think about motorsports and gaming?
Well, realistically, not much I could share. We're a public company, so we have to make sure that we say things in a certain structured manner. But speaking in general, right, if you think about us, we do official racing games. And just like in the real world, that authenticity part, when we even put on some of our esports, where you have the F1 stars and NASCAR stars and just all of these folks participating or working their way up inspirational ladder to get there, you want to make sure that that's the authentic sort of event, and then there isn't a Me Too all over the place. Of course, licensing helps you, but when you could validate it through something like a distributed ledger and say, I was actually the participant next to Gasly and others, I'm actually the one that won. I'm actually the one that's my virtual car that beat that race, just like in a real world, that cars have their own race records. So you could think of many, many different things when it comes to validating authenticity, building up on that trust factor that, oh yeah, that person really is who they are and they really have the record of what they've done, especially for us in the virtual racing space, is very important. We have a lot of money at stake when we put on some of these prices. Our current Le Mans Virtual is $250,000. Some other ones, could be more. So that to us is authenticity. I would say is probably one of the major points where blockchain helps enormously.
Definitely. I would absolutely agree with that. So Nicholas, I know you and I could talk all day about the perfect marriage of drones and crypto. Would love you to share about what we're doing with Algorand to really disrupt sports and gaming at the Drone Racing League.
Sure. Since everybody in this room is interested in crypto and what it's doing, I'll share some really good news. So our fan base is really young. So the average age of our fan is 28, but a lot of them skew a lot younger than that. And we went out to our fans, we were starting to talk to Algorand and said, hey, are you interested in crypto as a topic? Like, is this something that excites you? 70% of them came back and said, I'm interested in I'm either actively doing some crypto right now or I want to learn more. So it's incredibly exciting to see our fan base come out of the woodwork and say, wait a minute, this is something we're really excited about. Like the only thing that scores that high for us are things like drones themselves. So it's a really good sign, and it's an awesome signal for the future about fans and young fans in particular wanting to learn more about it. And so when you think about how we partner with someone like Algorand, we want to do authentic and exciting stuff on the blockchain. So even right now, today, we're launching for the first time an NFT marketplace with Rocket Insight. We are creating unique NFTs that will be part of the experience. We're actually going to use this very excited audience to beta test that a little bit. You'll see people from DRL here and the rest of the night handing out cards where you can get a commemorative NFT from this event. And a few people will get a NFT of one of our pilots, actually the Algorand pilot, a pilot named Manny, created by the Metapunks team. So that's going to, that is a simulation for you guys of what it's like to be a fan going to an event and starting to get something commemorative that you can take with it, something beyond that goes into the metaverse that takes your favorite pilot or your favorite athlete there. And for our fans, it's an incredible experience. And then from there, there's so many opportunities, especially you look at areas like play-to-earn gaming, which take gaming to the next level of engagement for the fans. We have traditional games, we have a simulator, we have a mobile game, but play-to-earn gaming takes it to a whole new level where they get to not only interact with the game and the IP of the league, but also the blockchain and the play-to-earn environment, which is something they want to learn about. They want to be interacting with it.
So don't forget to get your card there, because these commemorative NFTs, you're going to want to hold on to them. So Dan, heading back over to you. This last year has been just a breakout year when we look at crypto and blockchain and sponsorships. So everything from naming rights deals, actually in your hometown, no longer the Staples Center, to other types of very unique integrations, building our sport on the blockchain that we're doing with Algorand. Why now? Like, why do you think this timing is so perfect? People have been talking about crypto for years. What do you think has happened in the last, let's call it 24 months, to really have this category emerge as one of the largest sponsorship categories and really taking over so many industries from tech to sports to gaming?
Yeah, I think the first time I heard NFT was in 2018, at the very end of the year. And I think a few dominoes fell since that the first time I heard about it. The first is the pandemic. So I think a lot of people were at home and just kind of thinking about what to do, how to fill their time, and then concurrently you saw this explosion in collectibles. I don't know if any of you've seen the data, but I'm talking about your grandpa's baseball cards and football cards and things like that. Prices just completely skyrocketed. And because of that, you saw a lot of fraudulence. You saw a lot of counterfeits. Those have also equally increased, because if I could flip a card for $5,000 on eBay, why don't I heard they use coffee to stain these cards and make them look older, believe it or not. People have gotten so good at forging autographs on these memorabilias. And then blockchain is a solution. It's unhackable, it's unrepeatable. It's something that truly stands alone. And when you look at those dominoes falling in a row, and you see people becoming a little bit more savvy when it comes to this type of stuff. I remember a year or two ago, if you walk down the street and ask 10 people what an NFT is, probably maybe less than one had heard of one. Now, I don't know if people still fully understand it, but I would say the proportion is much higher that people have heard of this technology. So I think those events that all kind of led up to this, and now you see major brands and entities starting to get involved, and it's just compiling the snowball.
Yeah. And Dmitry, just playing off that point there, when we look at sports and esports and Web 3.0, like, give us some thoughts about how that'll look in the metaverse.
Well,
That's
let's
a
say
loaded
there's
one, I know.
Sure. Let's dream for a little bit. There's definitely an ability to go into a virtual world and experience a whole bunch of choices, right? And some of those things will be probably the drone league in a virtual format, somewhere as a theme park, and so on. Somebody will be playing the octagon cards. Sorry if I misshaped the cards, but the way that we see it is just a parallel universe. So besides the fact that it's going to be, let's say, unreplicable, and it's going to be one-of-ones and many others, it's going to be just another form of entertainment, maybe kind of unplugging yourself from a reality. But if I may just piggyback on what David was saying a little bit, in my opinion, NFTs kind of took off and crypto took off just during this period because of a lot of speculation. A lot of people were, making phantom money to real money, and all of a sudden, everybody's a crypto investor, and Dogecoin and every other coin is out there taking off. And I think that caught people's attention, right? And when your previous question of why now, I feel that a lot of people have a question mark over their head. Well, what is that? And then when you have big brands like NBA and others are getting behind, NASCAR on our side is getting behind, whether it's NFTs or participating in some format in Web3 or a metaverse, all of a sudden it's starting to bring that, I keep going back to that authenticity. Now the regular consumer is like, wait a minute, maybe that space is not just speculation. Maybe it's not just about buy a coin and make more on my Bitcoin. Maybe there is something more to it. So I think the more innovation happens in the Web3, more big brands come and endorse the fact that it's a safe zone, right? And now that everybody's kind of alerted about what's happening there, it'll be interesting to see how it evolves, but I definitely don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah, and I hear you in terms of how it evolves. I think back to when betting in 2018 finally got legalized, and not everyone adopted it in day one, but it's been another very progressive category when you look at partnerships that are in the sports space. So Adi, let's bring it back to our friends at Algorand. Would love you to share what you're seeing as the biggest opportunities that Algorand is really unlocking for you from a marketing, a revenue, and a fan perspective. I know those are three huge areas when you think about the growth of your business.
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, I personally love Algorand as well, and I have significant exposure in the protocol. So I'm really looking forward, and I love the entire day-to-day. In terms of our project specifically, I think with the Pierre Gasly project, we're working closely with the Algorand Foundation. So that's going to be super exciting. We're hoping that more members from the foundation and whoever else is in Miami who wants to comes out and kind of sees what's happening in Dubai. So there's been a lot of help, and a big shout out to Kelly as well, who's been super helpful in making connections for us, even though we've been sitting here in Dubai. So from a marketing perspective, it's been great help. From a revenue generation perspective, again, like because the cost of gas is so low, it just simplifies justifying why, as a protocol, we can charge 5% or 7% in terms of protocol fees. If we were to do this on Ethereum or one of the other protocols, it would cost us. There was no way we would be able to justify that sort of fees built in. And then, what was your third point? So sorry.
Fan perspective, revenue, and marketing.
Okay, fan perspective. Yeah, from a fan perspective, we're super excited. So we're launching this thing called the AFK Elephants, and we're going to be launching these soon. And they're going to be the first metaverse war of how the elephants are taking on the apes. But these elephants actually have functional utility in the Zone ecosystem. So if you have the special types of rare elephants, you get discounts in Zone, or you get reward multipliers, or you get additional benefits within the Zone ecosystem. But more importantly, when you log in through your MyAlgo wallet or your Algorand wallet into Zone, this NFT pops up as your digital avatar. So the more games you win over time, the NFT becomes like your pseudo identity on chain. So we actually have a lot of interest in the EFK elephant. So they're going to be launched soon. So from a fan engagement perspective, the Algorand community has really been pushing the EFK elephants, and we're loving what we're seeing.
Well, I can't wait to check that out. So thanks for the shout out of what we should be tuning into. So Nick, at DRL, I know you spoke earlier about this elusive fan base. You talked about them being young, a marketer's dream right now when you think about owning 100% of future consumers, customers, and everyone we care about from a fan perspective. I know we call them tech setters. Would love you to talk about how we think about tech setters really intersecting with these fan experiences, or what we're going to do on the blockchain when we think about the intersection of our sport and gaming right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as you say, our fans are, we always talk about them being sort of young and elusive and affluent. That's sort of the defining characteristic of our fan. They're very young. They're elusive because north of 70% of our fans don't watch or engage with the big 5 sports. So there's a whole generation of people out there who don't follow athletic sports in the way they traditionally do. And they tend to be sort of well-educated and affluent overall. So it's a really interesting group of people, and it's not a big surprise that they overlap with the crypto community and the interest in the blockchain and blockchain technology generally. But I think the exciting thing for me is that idea that you have this group of people that are young, excited. They're not touching traditional sports, and then we have this opportunity to go out to them and talk to them about blockchain, give them opportunities to interact with the blockchain. I thought it's been interesting working with Algorand. I think, similar to the way we can get into sort of a drone echo chamber where it's like, oh, everybody knows about drones. And you're like, oh, no. Same thing with the blockchain. Blockchain's really exciting, but you think about some of the play to earn and the excitement of play to earn. The number of people actually playing play to earn is actually very small. It's a drop in the bucket compared to almost any console game you know of. But we talk about it like it's this massive thing in the universe. So I think there's this sort of disconnect between the excitement about blockchain, the opportunity of blockchain, and the actual opportunities for a normal fan of a sport to go out and interact with it. And I think it's one of the things sports can do. I think it's not a surprise to me that you see a huge rush of sponsorship from the blockchain world into sports. It's a great way to talk to a group of people who are interested, engaged, have something they care about. So they might care about a player, they might care about the NBA, and you can give them this opportunity to interact with it and start to learn about it and engage with it. And I think that's awesome because I think it creates a tremendous fan experience. We're going to do things with NFTs, play to earn, that we could not do without the blockchain. It'll be unique fan experiences. Fans love that. And at the same time, you have fans getting an opportunity to work with blockchain in a way that would be otherwise be somewhat artificial to create. There's so many exciting things being built in the blockchain, but how many of them are really sort of consumer ready or plug into something that's part of the real world that people want to engage with anyway? And I think that's one of the things that we're so excited about with our sport. We can put out an NFT of one of our drones, and for people who love the drones, it's a way to own a piece of that, to be a part of it, but they're sort of completing that cycle of blockchain interaction.
Terrific. So Dmitry, I don't want to leave you out of the Algorand love fest here.
If I may, I also would like to comment. So we're experiencing slightly different, which is interesting, right? Maybe because we're mass market console games and so on. So we actually see that us potentially mentioning words like NFT, blockchain, crypto, our own coin, and blah, 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 could actually initially turn off the consumer because they have this negative perception of what it could be. So somebody like us would need a completely different approach of coming from the utility aspect of it, saying, no, this is not just a fancy word. We're not just saying meta just to say meta without substance, but this is what actually there is, the use of it. And luckily for you, you have those early adopters. For us, we have more cautious kind of consumer that are very sport orientated. They're super passionate about the sport. They care about the right portrait of the sport. God forbid we mess up any of our caution flags in our game. Those of you that tracked our community, they let us know about it. But point is, we have to go completely the other way in order to potentially adopt something like this. Otherwise, there will be a negative curtain before we even explain the benefit. So.
I think it's so interesting, right? Because we're obviously coming from different fan bases. And for us, we talk about these tech setters, our fans. I mean, our fans, their defining characteristic is they live for technology, right? And so we get to do things that other sports don't get to do. So we change our rules every year. We change the technology in our sport every year. We have competitions in a simulator, then we have competitions in real life. Then we take the courses from real life, put them back in the sim. And our fans love sort of swaying back and forth. And we have investors like Formula One and WWE that talk about the experience you have with it. Oh my God, if we put the sim side by side with real racing and in any way imply they're the same thing, fans freak out. And for us, it's literally our season's being broadcast right now on NBC, and you'll see digital racing, you'll see real racing. And I think that flexibility that's a powerful weapon for us, and we try to use it. But again, I think what gets me excited is, okay, that's the generation that's coming up. So it's just a matter of time until even that younger fan base that's in something like NASCAR, IndyCar, is going to say, wait a minute, we want these things to be part of our lives.
Completely agree. We're watching you guys, what you guys are doing.
Going to give you a lot to watch there. So Dan, just lastly, because I know we're getting to the end here, would love to hear, what partnership opportunities, I know we spoke earlier about naming rights and all of that. When you think about Sequoia Games, what you're doing with the NBA, you gave us a little bit of a show and tell here. How is that unlocking new revenue streams, new partnership opportunities beyond the traditional stuff when you think about intersecting in the crypto world?
Yeah, it's been tremendous, and we feel very fortunate to have interest from a lot of different perspectives and vantage points as far as the way businesses look at partnerships like ours. So it's really exciting. We're trying to integrate technology into old, tried and true genres that have been successful for decades. So that creates a lot of opportunity as new technology starts to emerge, not just on the software side, but on the hardware side, wearables and as augmented reality and virtual reality starts to evolve from a hardware standpoint. We're really looking at partnerships that will allow us to capitalize on that technology, to ride and continue to increase the amount of hype that I think is the next phase of gaming, which is, it's not just me using a controller, it's me. It's me actually there. And I think sports as we've been talking about is a great way, gaming is a great way to break in that technology. I think over the next few years, something to look out for is this emerging hardware that we'll see from big companies that will allow us to now program and reprogram our way of consuming entertainment and sports. I think it's really exciting.
Well, that is a great way to end there when we think about the future. So I want to thank our panelists. Adi, thank you for joining us. Daniel, Nicholas, Dmitry, appreciate you sharing all of these great insights and knowledge.
Thank you.